Welcome to Boston and to Fenway Park. It's Game 3 of a 4-game series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Boston Red Sox. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, as always, joined by Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. A lot of uncertainty looking towards 2016 for the Red Sox, but one thing is certain, the top of their order right now has it going on.
Oh, it really does. The combination of Mookie Betts, Dustin Pedroia, and Xander Bogaerts has been absolutely outstanding recently, and you can see what's going on at the top of the batting order for the Red Sox. This month, 397 for Betts with a couple home runs, 8 RBIs. Right now, Dustin's on a 10-game hitting streak, hitting .405 this month, and an 11-game hitting streak for Xander Bogaerts, .385. Now, that makes those guys behind him love it. I mean, guys like David Ortiz, who are hitting behind them, has to be absolutely ecstatic because they're always on base right now. So, we talked a little bit earlier about David going for 100 RBIs. Certainly with those guys swinging the bat is that well in front of him, that should come very, very soon.
It's been impressive. Red Sox looking to bounce back tonight. They send Rick Porcello to the mound. It'll be start number 26 of the year for Porcello. He's 8-13. We're back with more for Fenway right after this. A new Audi A3 today. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Toyota's website for deals, buy at Toyota.com. Digital Federal Credit Union, see what DCU can save you. The Kia Sorrento. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at Southwest.com. Welcome back to Fenway Park as we get ready for Game 3 of the series between the Red Sox and the Rays. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Well, generally when a player goes well at AAA, he has the chance to move up to the major leagues. If a player does not play well in the minors, often it doesn't go well at the major league level. For Travis Shaw, it's been strange. Not so good numbers at AAA. Here in the majors, he is flourishing. With more, here is Garen Austin.
Thanks, Don. Travis Shaw has been hitting .294 with 11 home runs, had 3 hits last night, and has been consistently in the lineup starting at first base. Interim manager Torey Lovullo talked about why it's been an easy decision to put him in every night.
I heard this phrase the other day. Travis was born in a bat bag. We know his history in this game because of his father and what he's learned growing up. I mean, he's been a baseball player since day one. So every little piece of what he can gather is helping him be a more productive major league hitter. Everything is spiked up. Everything is a little bit higher than it should be. I think it's a tribute to the hard work that he's put in. I think it's a very well-deserved position that he's put himself in.
Well, Travis Shaw back in the lineup tonight and back at first base for Boston. We're back with the first pitch right after this. Tonight's baseball on NESN is brought to you by Nissan. Get to Nissan's ride of your life for exciting performance and bonus cash. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Your local New England Ford dealers. And by the Scion TC. Now back at Fenway Park as we get ready for Game 3 of the series. Rick Porcello on the mound warming up as the Red Sox trying to bounce back after a tough loss here last night in Game 2 of the series. The Rays lineup is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. John Jaso at the top of that lineup. He is the DH with Daniel Nava, former Red Sox World Series champion. He is in left field batting second with Evan Longoria at third base. As Drupal Cabrera at shortstop with Steven Souza Jr. in right. James Loney at first base with J.P. Arancibia doing the catching. Kevin Kiermaier at center field bats eighth. And Nick Franklin at second base rounds out the starting nine for the Rays. The Red Sox starting pitcher presented by your local New England Audi dealers. Rick Porcello on the mound for his 26th start. Comes in at 8-13 with a 5.16 earned run average. 126 strikeouts in 150 innings with 35 walks. And opponent sitting at 285 against Porcello. Did lose on Friday at Toronto against the Jays. 6 innings, 6 runs, 5 of them were earned. He struck out 4 in that outing against Toronto.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. They are 11th in the league with 91 errors on the season. Devin Marrero will be at third base. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. And Travis Shaw, the first baseman. Left to right, Brusney Castillo, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts. And Blake Swihart doing the catching for Porcello.
Bill Wilkie has it played tonight, calling the balls and strikes with the crew chief John Hirschbeck at first base, John Tumpane at second base, and James Hoy, the umpire, at third. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas noches, amigos.
Conditions here tonight at Fenway Park a little warmer tonight than it was last night at 65 degrees as we get it started. Light and variable is the wind direction and speed, and the forecast clear for the remainder of the night. The Red Sox and Rays ready to play, and John Jaso has been pinch hitting in each of the first 2 games. Gets a start tonight as the Rays designated hitter. Porcello's first pitch of the ball game is in there for strike 1, and we are underway. Jaso at 287 with 4 homers and 18 runs batted in. Walked and scored a run as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning in game 1, as this one is line foul back into the seats.
It's the 4th time this season Porcello has faced the Tampa Bay Rays. He's 2-0 in the 3 starts previous with a 2.70 ERA.
Trying to hold up, and he goes around, and a good start for Porcello. Strikes out Jaso to begin the ball game.
Elevating the fastball on purpose. They wanted to do that to Jaso with 2 strikes on him. Swihart giving the signal to get that fastball upstairs. They do, and Jaso cannot control the swing of the bat. First strike out of the ball game.
So 1 down takes us to Daniel Nava as he gets his first start of the series here at Fenway Park on a Rays uniform. We saw him participate in the series down in St. Petersburg after joining the Tampa Bay Rays. 191 with a home run, 9 runs batted in as he takes a pitch outside. It's been hard to get playing time for Nava right now with the outfield situation for the Rays. They've generally been going with Kiermaier in center, Souza in right, and it has been a rotation of left fielders along the way, and Nava gets into that rotation tonight. Kevin Cash at the helm of the Rays, first year of his tenure with Tampa Bay. Strike called. Nava didn't think it was a strike, and it's 1-2.
And Daniel thought that ball was up and away, but certainly within the strike zone.
And Milwaukee with the plate tonight. Breaking ball, it's grounded softly as Porcello jumps off the hill and fires to first base in time to get Nava 2 down. Well, tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Last night, Tampa Bay recorded their 700th win since changing their name to the Rays. First season of the Rays was 2008. Only 3 other Major League teams have reached the 700 win mark in the same time span. Angels, Cardinals, and Yankees. Pretty good company for Tampa Bay, and dropping the Devil out of their Devil Rays certainly seems to have made a difference, at least from wins and losses for the Rays.
It took me a couple of years to get used to that.
It's still tough.
Yeah, it's still every once in a while you're tempted to say it.
Evan Longoria hitting at 270, 19 homers and 70 runs batted in. Of course, the first year they dropped it, they get into the postseason for the first time and got to the World Series, and they lost to the Philadelphia Phillies. This is line back up the middle into center field. A hot shot and a 2-out base hit for Evan Longoria.
Yeah, he's swinging the bat very well right now. It's a 5-game hitting streak for Longoria as he takes that one right back up the middle past Porcello. Longoria came into the game only a .217 hitter against Porcello, but picks up this base hit and just missed, hitting Porcello in the shin.
So a 2-out base runner here for Tampa Bay, and brings us to Asdrubal Cabrera. Forsythe has been batting in the cleanup spot, but he is out of the lineup tonight. So Cabrera sliding up to the cleanup spot. Pitch in there for a strike one. If you take a look at the Tampa Bay lineup, and this has really been the case over the last couple of years, you're not going to let Evan Longoria beat you. He's the one guy that you're pretty concerned with, and he hasn't had a lot of protection in front of him or behind him the way these lineups have been constructed, and doesn't get a lot of good pitchers to hit. But even so, Longoria 1 home run shy of 20 on the year. He's 19.
The thing that surprises me, you bring up that point, and it's an excellent point, but he's only got 50 walks on the season. You'd think he'd have more than that.
Yep. Swing and a miss. Cabrera strikes out Porcello with 2 Ks in the first inning. Red Sox are coming up. Coming up, and they'll be dealing with the Rays starting pitcher, presented by New England Nissan dealers. Drew Smyly makes his 11th start, 3-2 with a 3.64 earned run average, 54 in the third inning, 62 strikeouts in those 54 in the third, and opponents hitting at 240 against Smyly. Mookie Betts leading it off and taking strike one. Last time out, a win against the Baltimore Orioles, although he gave up 5 runs in 5 2/3 innings. That's Pedroia Bogaerts as Betts hits at 291, 15 homers, 71 runs batted in. Line to left center field, in for a base hit. Nava cuts it off on a sliding play and holds Betts to a single, but a good start to the bottom of the first inning for Boston. Let's check out the rest of the Red Sox starting lineup. It's brought to you by Eastern Hyundai dealers. I saw Mookie Betts. He is in right field again tonight with Pedroia back in there at second base. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop with David Ortiz, the DH. Travis Shaw has been batting fifth and back at first base with Rusney Castillo in left. Blake Swihart does the catching with Devin Marrero back at third base again. Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field bats ninth. Pedroia standing in and taking strike one. 26 straight games now for Mookie Betts that he has reached base safely. Reaching here in a single in the first inning. And Betts now extending his current hitting streak to 3 games and hitting safely in 32 now. The last 35 for Mookie is, look at the numbers for Pedroia. And last night off as Josh Rutledge got the start at second base.
2 starts ago for Smiley was against the Red Sox. He gave up no runs in 6 innings and had 11 strikeouts in that game against Boston.
Yeah, he was pretty impressive in that outing at Tropicana Field. Career high 11 Ks against Boston. That'll bounce in, blocked by Aaron Sebe. Now the throw is Betts trying to take second, and he does. Almost overslid the bag there, but he takes advantage of the ball in the dirt.
That's a great read again by Mookie Betts at first base. He sees the ball's going to be in the dirt. He just takes off at second base and has no problem getting the scoring position. Very good secondary lead, as you can see. Ball in the dirt, and off goes Betts.
So now it's second base with nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. Pedroia with a count of 1-1. High fly ball to left field. Daniel Nava moves over towards the line and the stands and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. No advance for Mookie Betts.
The Rays defense is brought to you by DraftKings. They are 13th in the American League with 91 errors on the season. Evan Longoria will be at third base as Drupal Cabrera, the shortstop. Nick Franklin at second. James Loney at first. Left to right, Daniel Nava, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. And J.P. Arancibia doing the catching for Smiley.
One out runner at second base, and Xander Bogaerts the batter. Xander at .325 with 7 home runs, 78 runs batted in. Xander taking a strike, coming in with an 11-game hitting streak into tonight's action. 408 along the way. 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in for Bogaerts. This 11-game hitting streak matches a career high. Did it earlier this season. July 1st through the 17th as he fouls that pitch off and is down 0-2. It's time now for tonight's Twist of the True Fact. Xander Bogaerts, first Red Sox shortstop with at least 2 hits, 1 run in 4 consecutive contests since Nomar Garciaparra did it in 5 games from August 5th to the 8th of 2003. Twisted Tea is the hard iced tea. Tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. 1 out runner at second, and Bogaerts down 0-2. Cheating in from second is Franklin. That pitch is in the dirt, but Betts staying at second base.
You know, for Smiley, this really has been an injury-prone type of season. He's had a couple of them, a torn left labrum, and then left shoulder tendonitis has had him on the DL a couple of times. That's the reason for the small amount of starts this year.
He was part of the deal with the Tigers as he was in Detroit involving David Price. 3-team deal that also involved Seattle, the trade deadline last year. 1-2 pitch coming here to Bogaerts. And a ground ball left side as Longoria on the run. His throw in time, low, and dug out nicely there by Loney at first base. 2 down. Loney always a very good defensive first baseman as David Ortiz makes his way to the plate. We talked about earlier, Jerry, trying to get to that benchmark 3,100. He is an RBI shy of getting to his 100th RBI of the year.
And once he does, he'll be in some great company in Red Sox history.
Already part of the 500 club now. As he stands in with 2 outs, and Mookie Betts in scoring position at second base, trying to deliver him here in the bottom of the first inning. Center fielder Kevin Kiermaier over towards right center. Good sized gap out in left center field. They with good numbers against Drew Smyly. Since Smyly joined the Rays, opponents are hitting only a .203 against him. First official appearance for him August 1st of last year. Betts takes off for third, but time was called. David Ortiz called for time right before Betts took off.
Yeah, Mookie Betts had him read pretty good, too. You know, 2 looks, and then he would not look a third time, and that's when Betts took off. His 1 look, that was actually the second look, but Ortiz had called timeout, so it didn't matter. There's the time signal given by Ortiz, and he was given time by the home plate umpire while Betts was stealing third.
So Betts at second base, still here with 2 down. David heading the count 1-0. And Ortiz will take that pitch in the dirt. 2-0. On deck for Boston, Travis Shaw has been batting out of that 5 spot. Doing a very good job at it for the Red Sox in behind Ortiz. Taking off again is Betts. David will take a pitch low, and Betts steals third base without a throw. So he gets it after all.
You can see that they're basically leaving him alone. They're in the shift at second base because of Ortiz at the plate, so he's able to get a big lead. And nobody really holding him on. So, I mean, it's almost a walk in the park to get to third base.
And David takes it outside, and that's ball 4. Down to first base he goes. On a 4-pitch walk, Smyly kind of pitching around him. First and third with 2 down, and Travis Shaw coming up. Shaw at 294 with 11 home runs, 30 runs batted in. 5th career Major League stint. All have come this season for the Red Sox. 3 for 3 in the ball game last night. 2 RBIs and a walk for Shaw as he takes a pitch downstairs for ball 1. 5-game hitting streak coming in for the Red Sox first baseman. .588. That's at third. Ortiz at first with 2 down. And the strike on the corner. 1-1.
We were surprised last time at the 11 strikeouts because not an overpowering fastball by any means. 90, 91. See the breakdown there of the pitch arsenal. That time 92 with the fastball, but a good location away from Travis Shaw.
It seemed like he did a great job of mixing up his pitches and keeping the Red Sox off balance in that entire outing.
He really did. It was quite surprising to see the 11 strikeouts.
One, 2 to Shaw. And that's on the outside corner for strike 3. Red Sox strand a pair scoreless after 1. on Saturday, and don't miss on-field photo day on Sunday. All fans will also have the opportunity to run the bases after Sunday's game, all part of a Fan Appreciation Month at Fenway Park. Visit RedSox.com for tickets and more information. A lot of stuff going on here at the ballpark, and the remaining games here, the last homestand of 2015. And Steven Souza Jr. leads it off for Tampa Bay. 214, 15 homers, and 37 runs batted in. Foul off to the right out of play, and it's 1-1. Rick Porcello with 2 strikeouts in the first inning. It'll be James Loney, then J.P. Arancibia as part of this second inning for Tampa Bay.
Good two-seam fastball that time by Porcello, working it down and in on Souza Jr. Well, they want to elevate the fastball.
And a fair ball right down the right field line, kicks out to Betts, and stopping with a single is Souza to begin things here in the second inning.
Now the problem is that time they did not get it up high enough. Porcello wanted to elevate the fastball, but it stayed out over the plate. And Souza Jr. takes that pitch, a good pitch on the outside part of the plate to the opposite field. That's very good hitting by Souza Jr., but the bounce off the wall is going to keep him at first base with just a single as Mookie Betts tracks it down in a hurry.
Lead runner on here for Boston, or rather for Tampa Bay in the second inning, as James Loney stands in. 285, 4 homers, and 32 runs batted in. Throw to first, and diving back to the bag is Souza.
Yeah, he's got some speed, 12 steals on the season. He has been caught 6 times.
Slings it over to first base. A little different move that time, dropping down to the side.
Throw it on the right side of the bag, too. Tag him around the shoulder.
On the ground to third base. Nicely picked by Marrero to second for 1. On to first. It'll be in time. That ball changed direction on Marrero at third base, and he changed with it to make the grab.
That's 2 real good plays right there. Marrero the first one, and Pedroia the second. Watch where Marrero has to go to make this play. He makes it without the backhand, and on the run coming across the bag is Pedroia. Did not get a lot on the throw, could not get a lot on it, but they still get the double play. That's a weird play right there, I'll tell you. Marrero going not to the backhand to catch the ball, first of all, then Pedroia having to reach across his body to make the catch on the throw and still be able to get the double play, sprinting across the bag.
Kind of flinging it towards first base, hoping it would get there, and it did. Off the end of the bat, foul by the photographer's well. J.P. Arancibia is playing good power this month after being called up by the Rays. 5 homers, 15 RBIs, 327 average, all in the month of September. Broken bat, foul ball off to the left. Arancibia will get a new piece of wood. That one fractured. Now part of the living museum here at Fenway Park, the Yaz door. Down there in the corner. Jerry, would he spend any time in there?
Inside the scoreboard, or that door?
Or the Yaz door where his plaque is.
Very little time. You know, when there's a ceremony at Fenway Park, that's where they hide us sometimes before we come onto the field. You know what's behind that door right now? A lot of the grounds crew stuff.
Drying agent?
A lot of that.
Two pitches. Strike 3 to J.P. Arancibia, third K for Rick Porcello. Scoreless from Fenway. Photo. Use hashtag NESN Data Strong Fan and just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Tweet your photos now. Brought to you by T-Mobile. And tonight we promise Jerry and I will not dominate that segment of the show. As leading it off, Rusney Castillo lines one out to center field. Kiermaier back there makes the catch as he runs onto the edge of the warning track for the first down of the inning. And we were able to get a hold of the producer last night and make it happen. Able to get rid of the other photos. Hashtag became hashtag Don and Jerry instead.
Yep. Everybody's going to have their day, you know.
One down here in the second inning brings up Blake Swihart. Pitch a little low to Swihart. .272 average. Pitch on that outside corner given credit for. Swihart didn't think so. Red Sox threatened in the first inning, and runners at first and third with two down. Shaw struck out looking to end the inning.
Cut fastball that time from Smiley at about 85 miles an hour. And then the changeup, it looked like a breaking ball or a changeup that time at 77. A lot of different looks from Smiley.
Fly ball, foul ground. Loney going as far as he can over by the tarp area, but he won't have a play. Swing and a miss, off balance, and the second strikeout for Drew Smiley as he gets Swihart two down.
He got Shaw on a fastball. He gets Swihart on the breaking ball, and a pretty good one. It starts off just above the knees and finishes down below the strike zone.
Make insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. Two down here in the second inning brings up Devin Marrero. Shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes strike one. So they get a regular starting job here for the Red Sox lately at third base. Rockholt on the bench tonight, and of course Pablo Sandoval still ailing, sick, and has been away from the club in the process. And Devin Marrero having a chance to start on a more regular basis, trying to settle in.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. He swung the bat well. He has played good defense out of third base.
Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. Got away from Aaron Sebia briefly, so he's got to throw him out, and does. It's 3 strikeouts for Smiley in a 1-2-3 second. We're scoreless from Fenway. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Scoreless as we head to the top half of the third inning, as Kevin Kiermaier leading it off here for the Rays. Kiermaier, Franklin, and Jaso. There's a swing and a miss for strike one. Kiermaier, the fleet-of-foot center fielder for the Rays, batting out of the 8th spot at .257, 8 homers, 36 runs batted in. Kind of a check swing foul, defensive cut there.
We talked a little bit about Kiermaier when we were down in St. Pete, and he hits the ball to the outfield. You got to make sure you get it back in very quickly because he's always thinking double.
Fly ball down the left field line, making its way foul. This played by a fan of the top deck. No 2 pitch. That one down and in has Kiermaier dancing out of the way. One-two pitch is softly lined over the leap of Bogaerts and into left center field. Kiermaier with a wide turn at first. On with a leadoff base hit as we check in with Garen.
Don, I talked to Devin Marrero before the game, and he said that his transition to third base has been going well. Marrero said that it really helps that third base coach Brian Butterfield gets him out there early for practice. Marrero said that extra work really helps, so when he does get into a game, he feels much more comfortable and that everything is second nature. Don?
Well, he has been comfortable. It appears to be very comfortable down there, and Brian Butterfield, big part of that as always when it comes to infield work. And he has worked with so many guys over the years here with the Red Sox and in the past. Look back to Derek Jeter's career starting early on with the Brian Butterfield in the minor leagues in the Yankees system at the time.
Now, one advantage for Marrero, the fact that he plays shortstop. So, the transition to third base, at least he's on the same side of the infield, but he's a lot closer to the hitter than he is at shortstop, and that those quick reactions become very, very important.
Let me ask you this. You think that's why he didn't go to the backhand the first time in that play earlier?
I think the ball just took a bad hop on him. I really do. I think it was spinning in a kind of a weird way as it headed out toward him at the third base.
Nick Franklin, the batter, the runner at first base, and a pitch in there for a strike, 1-1. Time call. Kiermaier gaining his lead at first base. Just collected the third Rays hit. They have one in each inning so far tonight against Rick Porcello. Back out of the stretch again. And Franklin, it's a fly ball out to right center field. Bradley Jr. tracking it. Makes the catch and got himself in position in case Kiermaier was tagging up. He's not, and there's one out in the inning. DraftKings.com is paying out over $300 million this baseball season. DraftKings has given out $34 million to Boston residents alone since the site launched. Get your free entry into a one-day fantasy baseball contest today using promo code NESSN. 1 on, 1 out, and John Jaso, the batter, second time through now for Tampa Bay against Rick Porcello. Check over at first, and back to the bag is Kiermaier. Bobbled around there by Swihart, able to block it.
Now, we've highlighted that stance many, many times for John Jaso. One of the strangest ones I've ever seen in the big leagues, where that front leg goes right back to the back of the batter's box to start with, but then, of course, comes in a good hitting position.
And it seems it is new this year because we've seen a lot of John Jaso over the years, and I don't remember this.
I remember an open stance, but not, that open to start with. But it's obviously a comfort zone that he has found.
This time with Tampa Bay previously, then with Oakland. Is now Devin Marrero, third baseman, coming to the right side of the infield on the shift. Swing and a miss for Jaso, and it's 2-1. Chased the pitch he didn't want to.
Hi, John. Hi, Remy. Come and visit. I want to see you.
They'd like us to visit, Jerry.
Come on up. I mean, we got nothing to do except
can
do a game. They can come up and see us if they want.
It is on the ground to first base. Shaw will touch first. Second base becomes a tag play, and it's late. As into second base goes Kiermaier. Jaso retired, 3 unassisted for the second out.
You know, even though a man gets in scoring position, I think that Shaw did the right thing by tagging first base because he's so close to it. And he felt that he had time. But the problem is Kiermaier really runs well. And you can see him already standing up at second base by the time that tag is applied. Nice effort by Shaw, but Kiermaier's speed makes a difference there.
Runner at second, 2 down. Daniel Nava with his second at bat of the night, grounded back to the mound in the first inning.
Who were those ladies up on the Green Monster?
Yes, it'd be tough for us to get there and then get back without missing an out or anything.
Well, how about if we bring them to us?
I think we could do that.
Why don't we do it? We're nice people.
Very nice people.
Tell them, bring them up. So whoever's got the camera, just tell them to come on up. We'll say hi, and then they can leave and go back to their seats. Why not? It's fan appreciation week.
That's right. That's right.
If they want to come up to the booth, they're welcome to come up to the booth.
Yeah.
So whoever's running that camera out there,
bring your sign with you.
Bring them up.
And missed by a lot. Had Nava, who's generally close to the plate, backing out. 2-1. Line down the left field line, fouls. It jumps back up into the seats. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Nava grounding back to the mound in the first inning, getting his second look at Rick Porcello. Operating here with 2 outs and a runner at second base here in the top half of the third inning. Yankees and Blue Jays playing tonight at the Rogers Center again. They're scoreless in the second inning. Yankees are now 2.5 games back at the Blue Jays. Tonight a huge game for both those clubs. Swing and a miss, elevated by Porcello. Picks up his 4th Ks against Nava. Scoreless into the bottom of the third we go. busted up industrial plants throughout the Northeast run at optimal efficiency. Did you know FWWeb did that? Learn more about this proud Boston Red Sox sponsor at fwweb.com. Scoreless into the bottom of the third inning. Jackie Bradley Jr. leading it off. 9-1-2 for the Red Sox. Bradley, Betts, and Pedroia. On the ground right side, Franklin sprawling, getting up and throwing out Bradley at first base. Nice rangy play by Nick Franklin, getting up quickly for the first out. Get immediate care without leaving the ballpark at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center First Aid Station behind Section 12 on the lower concourse. BIDMC is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. I'm told by the fine people at Beth Israel Deaconess that I handled your cut properly last night.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good, yeah.
Everything will be okay. I think you'll be all set.
No infection, nothing going on today. Very good.
Only cleaned out, and the bandage on there. Also replaced the bandages in my bag with backup bandages now, so we're good. In case it happens again in the next week or so. Strike over the outside corner, and it's a ball and a strike to Betts. Dustin Pedroia waiting on deck. Red Sox batting here in the bottom of the third. And Smiley doing it again to the Red Sox, just keeping them off balance. Nothing overpowering. It has 3 strikeouts. It's not only 1 hit through 2 1/3 innings. Ground ball this time to Asdrubal Cabrera for the second out of the third inning.
You know, the thing that's impressive about Smiley's 11 strikeout performance last time against the Red Sox are the 3rd toughest team in the American League to strike out.
Two down here in the third inning brings up Dustin Pedroia. Flied out to left field in the first inning. I think everybody who seats on the monster seats out there appears to keep score, and because I guess you got a workspace to do it in, it's probably pretty conducive to do so.
This little guy here, he's more into keeping score than being on TV. It's like, get that thing out of my grill.
Yeah.
I want to keep score. I've got my glove just in case somebody hits one out here. I'm keeping score. Get the camera away.
I don't want to be on TV.
Yeah.
I just want to keep score, and I want to be left alone. One pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Dustin flying out to left fielder Daniel Nava in the first inning, 0 for 1. Flares it foul off to the right, out of play. Only hit so far tonight for Boston, the single to left field by Mookie Betts. Lead off the bottom of the first inning. Mookie was left at third base. Took second on a wild pitch, stole third. And Smiley get out of the jam by striking out Travis Shaw to end the first inning. Now Pedroia fouls off another one to the right. Six in a row retired by Smiley. I think it's 7 here if Aaron Sebia can throw out Pedroia, and he does to end the inning. Strikeout number 4 for Smiley. No score through 3 from Fenway. good things happen. Watch how good things are happening to local people at easternbank.com/good things happen. That's on to the 4th inning. So far, good things are happening for Rick Porcello through the first 3 innings. This is Evan Longoria for the 2nd time tonight. Longoria had a base hit off him in the first, 1 of 3 hits so far for Tampa Bay. Curveball dropping in there for strike 2. A lot of questions today to Torey Lovullo in his session with the writers about the difference with Porcello since coming off the DL, and clearly was not really healthy, according to Torey Lovullo, really the first half of the season. And when he finally went to the training staff, said he needed to be shut down. We have seen Porcello, the Red Sox really thought they were getting to begin the year, but to kind of pitch through some injuries, certainly feeling the pressure of signing a long-term big money contract, no doubt, sort of playing into that, trying to do too much to begin the year, and then the injury.
Yeah, you know, a lot goes into when you come to a new ball club, obviously. It's, first of all, trying to impress your teammates, trying to impress the fan base. You sign for big dough, and then you're not healthy. And you know, none of those things work together very well. And it was a wise thing to put him on a disabled list, obviously, and he's been a totally different guy since he's come back.
Swing and a miss, and Longoria strikes out. Porcello struck out Nava to close the 3rd. He opens the 4th by getting Longoria.
Fastball up and away this time from Longoria. To Longoria, I should say. Debatable strike right there. Looks like it might have been outside and a little bit high, but Longoria chases it for the strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts. 1 to end last inning, and now 1 to start the 4th inning.
4 in a row retired by Porcello. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Pops it up foul, backing out of play. Cabrera has been struggling at the plate. 3 for his last 24. But overall, since the All-Star break at .324, 7 home runs. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Location's been very good for Porcello tonight. I mean, he's getting the ball exactly where Swihart wants it. Wanted that pitch away, got it away, and got the swing and miss. See Swihart set up outside. That's exactly where he gets the pitch.
On the ground and through the right side into right field, a base hit for Cabrera. So the Rays continuing their pattern of a hit in each of the first 4 innings of this ball game now. 1-out single this time. Don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings live right after the game. TC and Tim Wakefield to break down tonight's game. You'll hear from Rick Porcello, whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason? One out, runner at first base for Steven Souza Jr. Swing and a miss as Souza is down on the count. A little bit of smoke making its way across the outfield here at Fenway.
I don't know where that's coming from, but it certainly smells like smoke and fire someplace, I would imagine.
On 1 pitch, lined out to center field. Bradley Jr. is there waiting to put it away. And there are 2 outs in the inning. So 2 away, and it brings up James Loney. 2 down, Cabrera at first base, and here is Loney, who grounded into a 5-4-3 double play in the second inning. Well, he sends one to deep left field. Rusney Castillo going back at the wall to make the catch right in front of it. Well, he gives it a ride, but he's out number 3. 3.5 done. We're scoreless from Fenway. Account with Eastern Bank and get $100. Just text money to 36698. It's on to the bottom of the 4th inning back at Fenway Park. 7 in a row retired by Drew Smyly as Xander Bogaerts leads it off here in the 4th. And Xander takes strike 1. Bogaerts getting his second look at Smyly. Grounded out to third base in the first inning. 0 for 1. Inside out swing, and it's foul towards the end of the Red Sox dugout.
Understand there's a brush fire in the fence.
Aha.
And it's under control, so no need to worry. That's why we see all the smoke coming over Fenway Park.
Thought it was from our booth at first, but it is not. It is coming from over that way. Pitch down and in.
Somebody having a barbecue in here or something?
I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't sure. Bogaerts, Ortiz, and Shaw about here in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss, and that one gets away from Aaron Sebia briefly as he throws out Bogaerts. That's 5 strikeouts now for Smyly. Again, he struck out 11 last time against Boston. He's got 5 tonight through 3 1/3.
If my count is right, 4 out of the 5 have been on curveballs for Smyly. The last 4, the first one was a fastball to Shaw, and then since that time, Swihart, Marrero, Pedroia, and Bogaerts on curveballs.
So 1 out here in the 4th, 8 in a row. Retired by Smyly brings up David Ortiz, who walked in the first. Into the shift go the Rays on the right side of the infield. One ball, 1 strike to David Ortiz. Outfield plays for him to pull 2. A lot of times you see the infield not only shift and the outfield be about straight away, but move Kiermaier, the center fielder, towards right center.
Yeah, and all very deep.
Swing and a miss. Mighty wanted that.
That's that curveball again. It's been very good for Smiley in this game, keeping it down and away from Ortiz. Of course, the one Dave is looking for is the one that hangs inside.
Full count now with Travis Shaw waiting on deck. One out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. In the dirt. Did he go? They'll check. No, he did not, says James Hoy. Ortiz walking for the second time in tonight's ball game. We'll celebrate Big Papi's 500th career home run by getting your official merchandise at BigPapiShop.com. BigPapiShop.com is the official place for everything David Ortiz. One out, runner at first, and Travis Shaw coming up. Shaw struck out looking in the first inning. One of 5 Ks tonight for Drew Smiley. Fouled off to the left, out of play. Well, the walk to David Ortiz broke up a string of 8 in a row, retired by Smiley. Rays shifting here on Shaw, but they keep it close to the infield as Shaw will take the strike. Rusney Castillo waiting on deck. Red Sox batting here in the home half of the fourth inning. Swing and a miss. Shaw strikes out. That's 6 strikeouts for Smiley. That one badly fooled him, and there are 2 outs in the fourth inning.
The last 5 strikeouts for Smiley have all been curveballs. There's one to Swihart. He gets Marrero on a curveball. Breaking ball there in the dirt to Pedroia. Another breaking ball to Bogarts. And the last one to Travis Shaw. That one's not even in the strike zone, way outside. But picks up the strikeout. So the breaking ball, big weapon tonight for Smiley.
2 down for Castillo. And the pitch at the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Rusney lined out to center field. First time up, 0 for 1. Jerry, in between innings, you had the chance to take care of the bucket list request out there. The check has now been done. We had the chance to meet these fine folks, came to the booth, stopped in and said hello. They are from your area, yes?
Yes, Rehoboth. I didn't know that, but small world.
There's a ground ball up the middle and into center field. Castillo's got himself a base hit. As Ortiz takes second base, Red Sox have 2 on with 2 outs.
Well, the Red Sox trying to get something done here with 2 outs as Castillo gets a fastball and takes it back up the middle for the base hit. Kind of got jammed a little bit on that pitch. It didn't sound very good on contact, but good location right up the middle. See, we invite people to the booth. They come up to the booth. It's Fan Appreciation Week here in Fenway. So we appreciate
them appreciating us, and we appreciate they came to visit us, because we really didn't want to go out there in the middle of the game. We couldn't.
Why not?
Well, because we'd miss part of the game. We could walk away. Probably wouldn't work, although we could try it. Maybe we could walk somewhere. You want to take a walk?
I think I've done it before. I think I left before.
We were out there, though, when you took off on me that one night.
We were doing a game from out there, yeah.
We did the Monster Seats games, of which I believe I did about 6 innings myself.
I went and bought a bunch of beverages for some group of fans that were near us.
You didn't really feel like doing the game, and you just kind of disappeared.
That was supposed to be a fun night, right?
This is down the line in right field and out of play. 1-1. Not very difficult because the entire game is backwards. Doing the game from out there.
As much as I enjoy that experience of watching the game from up there, I don't want to work a game from up there ever again, because it's ball backwards. I mean, you look at the game from there, which looks terrific.
Yep. Great
but
view.
Then you look in your monitor,
it's backwards.
Everything's backwards.
Yes, right field's left field, left field's right field.
So I figured it was much easier to go buy beverages for people and do the game.
On the ground down the line at third, Longoria will tag the bag at third himself for the force out that ends the 4th inning. We are headed to the 5th without a score from Fenway. In 16 season. For information about becoming Red Sox season ticket holder, please call 617-226-6888 or visit redsox.com/season tickets today. Now scoreless as we head to the 5th inning, and it's the bottom third of the Rays order. JP Arancibia, Kevin Kiermaier, and Nick Franklin to bat in the inning. Arancibia striking out looking in the 2nd inning. Porcello with 5 strikeouts on the night as he starts this 5th inning. Kiermaier, then Franklin to bat. This one is grounded back to Porcello. Nice athletic play off the mound. And he flips to first base for the out to get Arancibia. Well, it's easy to start earning DD Perk rewards. Download the Dunkin' mobile app and enroll any DD card and perks right on the app. Message and data rates may apply. Red Sox Nation runs on Dunkin'. One out in the 5th inning, and that'll bring up Kevin Kiermaier. Single back in the 3rd inning. One of 4 hits for the Rays, who are currently out hitting the Red Sox 4-2 in the game. Tampa Bay here for one more game tomorrow night. 4-game series. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Wade Miley against Rasmus Ramirez in the finale of the 4-game series. By the dive of Marrero at third base into left field, and aboard is Kiermaier again. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game tonight for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, first time up he hit a curveball. This time he gets a changeup. It sounded like it was toward the end of the bat. Here's the changeup grip. That ball running away from him. It is toward the end of the bat, but he gets it by Marrero at third base. And Kiermaier, a threat to steal now, is at first with 1 out. 16 stolen bases on the season.
1 out, Kiermaier at first base, and Nick Franklin coming up. Franklin flied out to center field in the third, 0 for 1. Quick check on Kiermaier's lead was not large that time, but does get back diving. Runner goes, and a little hit and run here as it's lined into left field. Stopping at second base is Kiermaier, but a ringing single for Nick Franklin, and now back-to-back base hits for Tampa Bay.
Now Franklin saw a pitch he liked and just drives it to the opposite field. I don't know. It might be a hit and run because we saw Kiermaier look back, but it would be strange to do that with a guy with his kind of speed. You almost you play straight steal with him. But the way he looked back, it looked like maybe it was a hit and run with 1 out.
So 2 on, 1 away. Top of the order now, John Jaso. This is the first time the Rays have put together back-to-back base hits. They had singles in the first, second, third, and fourth innings, but that was it. Just 1 hit in each inning. Now it's the 8-9 guys with back-to-back base hits with 1 out. A little bit low, didn't miss by a lot. Ball 1. Porcello going 6 innings last time out, 6 runs, 5 earned. That was at Toronto against the Blue Jays, taking the loss against the Jays. Swinging a foul tip, 1-1. Right now, Ace Ticket has your tickets to all Boston Bruins, Boston Celtics, and New England Patriots games. Visit aceticket.com for the best seats at the best prices. Ace Ticket, it's more than a ticket. Kiermaier at second, Franklin at first. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Jaso. And a ground ball, double play ball to Pedroia to second for 1, on to first for 2. Second DP turned by the Red Sox in tonight's game. It's time for the box score. Fenway ready to go here in the bottom of the 5th inning as the Red Sox and Rays are scoreless in this one. Devin Marrero leading it off and swinging at this one and sending it out to center field. Kiermaier coming in for the first out of the inning. Marrero now 0 for 2 in the game. And the Bruins preseason continues on NESN Plus tomorrow night. Rangers come to town for an early preseason battle. It's Rangers at Bruins tomorrow night at 7 on NESN Plus. The building right there on the right as you make your way in.
It's got ice in it.
It's ready to go. Preseason hockey ready to go. One down for Jackie Bradley Jr. Bradley grounded out to Nick Franklin at second base. 0 for 1 in the game. That was in the 3rd inning. They'll drop in there for a strike. 1-1. Bradley 0 for his last 9 at the plate. Swing and a miss. That breaking ball headed down and away.
And exactly where he wants it against the left-handed hitter, down and away off the plate. Hope that they chase it. There it is again, but that time Bradley not chasing it, not tempting enough.
Well, dating back to July 30th, Red Sox against left-handed pitching have combined to hit .329. So far have been stymied by Smiley, working with 1 out here in the 5th inning, and a pitch well framed there by Aaron Sebia, but a little low.
A big deep breath taken by Smiley. He thought he had strike 3 on that.
Ground ball squibbed down the 3rd baseline. Smiley will get it there in time. Nice play by the pitcher, getting over there quickly. He had the only chance to make that play.
And did a very nice job too. He didn't panic, he didn't rush, just went over to make the play and then set himself up to make a good throw to first base. Goes down with the glove, good position to make the throw, squares up with the bag and throws a strike to first. By the way, that was a fastball at first, not a curveball.
Two down here on the 5th for Mookie Betts. That's why you're the best in the league. Nothing gets by you.
You could see the trajectory of it. You know, it was
clearly the fastball.
Yeah, it was a fastball. Cross seamer.
1-0 to Betts. That really would have been something had he chosen to throw the curveball to first base in that instance.
It would have been different. Would have been different. We've seen changeups go to first base, right?
Many. Strike over the inside corner. 1-2. Only 2 hits allowed so far by Smiley through 4 2/3 innings. Single by Betts, single by Castillo. A foul ball off to the right. Still 1-2. Back up the middle and by the dive of Nick Franklin into center field. A 2-out base hit for Mookie Betts. Solidly hit in his 2nd hit of the night.
And 2 singles for Betts on the night. 2 for 3. Both singles coming on fastballs from Smiley. That time a high fastball, and Betts gets the hands on top of it and drives it right back up the middle for the base hit. Nice effort by Franklin at second base, but he can't come up with it.
So 2 down, Betts at first base. Dustin Pedroia the batter, but first to toss over in that direction.
Next steal for Mookie Betts will be his 20th on the season. 19 right now, thrown out 6 times.
popped up, foul ground, and that'll reach the seats a few rows deep as Loney gave chase, first baseman. Stay tuned for Red Sox Final, presented by Uno's. TC and Tim Wakefield to preview Wade Miley's start against the Rays. Billy Pedroia breaking the bat. Mookie Betts at first base, 2 down here in the 5th inning. Mookie taking a peek in.
Yeah, when you see a runner like Mookie Betts take a peek in, what he's looking for is the breaking ball. You know, he's trying to pick up the signs to see if they're going to throw something off speed, breaking ball, change up, and that would certainly give you an advantage in stealing a base. That time, no look, because Smiley was looking right at him. It's always a tricky proposition to pick your timing when to try to peek in. And sometimes those catches won't let you. They'll pull that right leg out in front so you can't see.
TBA keeping it kind of tight, as you can see there with the signs. And a soft toss over, easily back is Betts.
There's that little peak right there.
Up and away, 1-1.
And that's okay. I mean, that's not, you know, that's acceptable. It's the catcher's job, really, to make sure that the base runner can't see that. It's like a breaking ball, but I don't think Mookie saw it.
That'll bounce its way in, blocked by Aaron Sebia. No advance at first base for Betts.
Nice block by Aaron Sebia. This ball way out in front of the plate. And holds Betts at first base with 2 outs. Keeps him out of scoring position with that block.
Ooh, close pitch, called the ball.
Now, there's been a couple in this inning that I think Smiley's pretty upset about right now.
Going this time, and a ground ball foul. Went on the 3-1 that time. Now it's 3-2, and he'll definitely be off now. 2 outs in the inning. Be sure to follow Nesson on Instagram today to see all things Red Sox and get a unique look at the Bruins as hockey season approaches. Follow Nesson at Instagram.com/Nesson. That should be off here with 2 outs, full count. Smiley checking on him, make sure he doesn't get a real good start. This one is fouled back just above us. Got the attention of our audio department just in behind us.
Actually woke him up.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Chris Nicini back there working hard on the audio, and all of a sudden there was a foul ball back there in his direction. 3-2 pitch coming up. And it is fouled back and just below us.
Now, you make that sound like that was within fingertip reach.
I wanted it, Jerry. I wanted it.
It wasn't even close.
I was ready. Wasn't too hot to handle.
No, it was a good one if it was higher.
No, I wanted it. I was trying to will its way up here. Three-two pitch coming up. And it is grounded foul into the photographer's well on the third base side. Another broken bat, second one of this at bat, and now Dustin's out of bats. Chris Cundiff will have to go get him a new one in the dugout. Not often you break two bats in the same at bat. Gives us a chance to read you a promo. Tonight after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, Bruins defenseman Dennis Seidenberg is having back surgery tomorrow. We'll give you the latest on when the Bees defenseman will be back on the ice. And hear from Tom Brady as the Pats get ready to take on the Jaguars. Two down, Betts at first base. He'll be off on the 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball, wasting another one as Pedroia. This at bat will extend to 10 pitches. Yankees and Blue Jays in the fourth inning without a score tonight at the Rogers Center in Toronto. Payoff pitch. Fly ball to shallow right. Out goes Nick Franklin, the second baseman of the outfield lawn, to make the catch. Red Sox leave a base runner. We're headed to the sixth inning without a score from Fenway. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. It's on to the sixth inning back at Fenway without a score. 6-3 Tampa Bay. Out hitting the Red Sox in this game. Well pitched tonight. Drew Smyly up against Rick Porcello. Very well pitched ball game, and it is 2-3-4 for Tampa Bay here in the sixth inning. Daniel Nava, Evan Longoria, and Asdrubal Cabrera expected to bat. Nava fouls it back. Off to the left and out of play. Nava, of course, a big part of the 2013 World Championship team. You think about him rotating in the outfield with Johnny Gomes as part of that outfield. Had a huge year for the Red Sox. The 0-1 pitch on the ground, fouled by the fungo circle. 0-2. College football is back on Saturday. The Delaware Blue Hens fly south to square off against the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. It's Delaware against North Carolina, live on NESN Saturday at 12:30. No 2 pitch. Another foul back by Nava. Look out, Nava gets hit. We've seen that a lot over the years too. Got him in the leg, it appears. I've hit batsmen to begin things here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, 0-2 count, and what Porcello's doing is trying to come inside on Nava, but comes way too far inside and gets Nava off the leg. Right off the back of the knee.
5th time that he has been hit this season.
Just about impossible to get out of that, a pitch like that. Get out of the way. Got nowhere to go.
Evan Longoria, the batter, 1 for 2. Longoria with a single to center in the 1st. Struck out swinging in the 4th and fouls this one off to the right, out of play. Longoria this year becoming the first Rays player ever in their history to reach 200 home runs. Trying to get to that 20 home run plateau this year, sitting on 19. Remarkably, he could become one of just 4 third basemen in Major League history to hit at least 20 home runs in 7 of his first 8 seasons in the big leagues. Over 1,100 games now for Evan Longoria. One-two pitch. And a swing and a miss. Porcello on the high fastball gets him to chase. Second time, Longoria is down by way of the K.
Yeah, all 3 times he's seen fastballs. Got a base hit on a fastball in the 1st, struck out on a fastball in the 4th, and now they elevate up and out of the strike zone here in the 6th inning for the strikeout.
H.B. Hood salutes the Red Sox Foundation's commitment to 4,900 accredited charities throughout New England. 1 on, 1 out, and as Drupal Cabrera, the batter, he has struck out swinging and singled to right field. Soft toss to first, and Nava back to the bag. And out of 14 career stolen bases for Nava. 1 for 1 this season.
Porcello that time trying to turn the fastball over, get that ground ball, and get that double play to get out of the inning.
Red Sox have turned 2 double plays in the game. 5-4-3 DP in the 2nd, and a 4-6-3 twin killing in the 5th inning. Fouled off to the left, out of play. Gets the arms out of the way, but it is a strike on that inside corner.
Yeah, good two-seamer that time by Porcello. Starts it off inside, comes back a little bit, and picks up quite a bit of the inside part of the plate.
With 2 strikes now on Cabrera, the Red Sox going into a shift. As Devin Marrero moving across the diamond from third over to the second base spot. Fly ball struck well to right field. Betts moving back will have room as he backpedals to make the catch. 2 down in the inning. Originally got twisted up out there over the wrong shoulder, but had time to recover. 2 down.
Mookie Betts just backpedaling about 3 or 4 steps once he gets himself in position to make that catch. Took off turning to his left, had to get back to his right. No problem for Betts.
2 down, Nav at first base, and Steven Souza Jr. will take a look at ball 1 down and away. Single to right field in the second inning, lined out to center in the fourth. Breaking ball had him ducking for cover, but it is a ball. 2-0.
Yeah, I don't think he picked that ball up very well at all, because you'll see that it's not that close to him. It's almost a strike.
Base hit through the left side into left field, and Souza's got himself a hit, and the Rays continue the streak of at least 1 hit in every inning.
And the second hit of the night for Souza gets himself in a 2-0 count, sitting on the fastball. He gets the fastball and drives it between third and short for the base hit. He came into the game 2 for 8 in his career against Porcello. He's actually 0 for his last 10 coming into the game, but 2 for 3 tonight.
Two on, 2 down. James Loney, the batter. Grounded into the 5-4-3 double play in the second inning. Flied out to the warning track in the fourth inning. He's leading hitter with runners in scoring position at 321. That's with Nava at second base. Souza at first. 2 outs here in the Rays' 6th inning. Now Porcello falling behind 2-0.
A veteran hitter like Loney now too will really narrow down his strike zone, or should, to try to get a pitch that he wants, that he can drive.
Bounces in for ball 3.
I would consider giving him the green light right here. Got a right-hander on deck, Arancibia. You saw the numbers with men in scoring position.
First 3-ball count of the night here for Rick Porcello. We'll see if James Loney indeed does have the green light. He did, but fouled it back. Rick Porcello's pitching line is brought to you by Ace Ticket. 5 2/3, 7 hits, no runs, not walked anybody, struck out 6. About to throw his 20th pitch of this inning. In a battle here in the 6th inning. Rays have runners at first and second, 2 down. Hit Nava to begin the inning. Souza mixed in a base hit, and 2 on, 2 down. And a liner to second base that is caught by Pedroia. So the Rays strand a pair. We head to the bottom of the 6th without a score. 5:30, don't miss. Friday Night Fenway, presented by Budweiser. PCM joined by Red Sox interim manager Torey Lovullo. Remember to join Budweiser at Cask and Flagon before every Red Sox home game in September for a chance to be selected as the Budweiser fan of the game. Budweiser, brewed the hard way. Well, Xander Bogaerts leading it off here in the 6th. And Xander taking a pitch outside for ball 1. Breaking ball that time. Has been a lot of them tonight from Smiley. That one in there for a strike. Wondering about his pitch arsenal tonight, Jerry. It seems like maybe a lot of curveballs on that pitch arsenal.
Yeah, he's thrown a lot of curveballs, and he's really located his fastball very well. Very similar to the last start he made against the Red Sox down in Tampa Bay.
Mentioned the 11 strikeouts last time against the Red Sox at Tropicana Field. There's 6 tonight through the first 5 innings. And Bogaerts lines out to Longoria. One down in the inning. Let's check in with Guerin.
Thanks, Don. Interim manager Torey Lovullo said that manager John Farrell is doing well and that they talk every day. Lovullo said that Farrell just started his 3rd and final round of treatment. And guys, Lovullo said that Farrell was here the other day, a little low on energy, but they're still having some good baseball conversations.
Guerin spent a lot of time yesterday with John Farrell in his office. He was here at the ballpark, and a lot of days he has been here at the ballpark, and was hopeful that next week would be the last round, hopefully, if everything goes all right. But he was in good spirits and certainly very strong and doing well, and that's part of the reason that it may be shortened, is that how well he is doing with the amount of chemo that he has received.
Yeah, every time I've had a chance to talk with him, it seems like things are going very well, moving very quickly for him. It's been some tough times, there's no question about that. A lot of fatigue, but things are progressing, and we hopefully on the right track, and it'll all be over soon.
He has been here for some nights for the games in his office, but a lot of the time watching us on Nesson and watching the games, which is certainly very unusual for him. It must be kind of strange after being out there for all these years managing. 1-2 pitch. I tried to tell him that it was better on television, but he wasn't really buying that.
Well, I tell you what, you can see the game better on television than you can from the dugout. There's no question about that. But I think it's a little bit more involved when you're down in the dugout.
2-2 pitch is just going to miss. Framed there by Aaron Sebia. Swinging a foul tip held onto by Aaron Sebia, and Ortiz strikes out. That's 7 strikeouts now for Smiley. 2 down. Pitching line brought to you by Lexus. Drew Smiley, 5 2/3, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, and 93 pitches thrown by Smiley. Two away for Travis Shaw, who struck out twice. Hot shot under the glove of Loney down the right field line. Heading for second base is Shaw. Nick Franklin, the second baseman, running out there, and Shaw has got himself a double.
Al Shaw keeps a hitting streak alive at 6 games now. You know, we say this often, but after you've struck out a couple of times in a row, you don't wait around. And he jumps on that very first pitch. I believe it was a cut fastball. Gets by Loney, and Shaw gets in a scoring position with 2 outs.
So 2 down, Shaw at second base, and Rusney Castillo coming up. Lined out to center field in the second, single to center in the 4th inning. Ground ball right side, and Nick Franklin, who will go to first for the out that ends the 6th inning. Red Sox leave a runner in scoring position, still scoreless through 6 innings. It's always a fun time out on Yawkey Way before a Sox game. 4-year-old Alexandra enjoyed a recent Sox game on the shoulders of her big brother Nick. Tweet your photos now, brought to you by T-Mobile. On to the 7th inning, and it is J.P. Arancibia leading it off here for the Rays. Arancibia, Kiermaier, and Franklin, 7, 8, and 9 for the Tampa Bay Rays. 0 for 2 tonight is Arancibia. And he went around there, not able to hold up. He struck out looking and grounded back to the mound. They're in the 6th now at the Rogers Center without a score tonight. The Yankees and Blue Jays battling. Fouled off to the right, out of play. I imagine that's a playoff atmosphere there tonight. We saw a playoff atmosphere in Toronto, and the Red Sox not in the mix.
Yeah, it's great to see the crowds back and filling that Rogers Center again like they did when they had their very good teams. Very hungry baseball fans in Toronto.
Swing and a miss. Arancibia strikes out. That's 7 strikeouts for Rick Porcello. Second time Arancibia is down by way of the K. Just one Nexium 24-hour day gives you all day, all night protection from frequent heartburn. Go to Nexium24hour.com for savings and pick up Nexium 24-hour at your local Stop and Shop. One out here in the 7th inning brings up Kevin Kiermaier. 2 for 2 in the ball game. Single to left in the 3rd, a single to left in the 5th, and a single to right here in the 7th. Didn't waste any time there. Taking a hack at that first pitch, and 1 out base hit, and he's 3 for 3 on the night.
He's hit all different types of pitches too. A curveball, a changeup, and now a fastball for the base hit. And once again, he becomes a threat to run. Big gap between Shaw and Pedroia. He finds it. Love the way he runs the bases. I admire his hustle. He hustles out of the box. He's always thinking, too, if there's a bobble in the outfield, he's got a chance.
90th pitch coming up here for Porcello. And Nick Franklin chases that pitch away. Franklin has fly to center and single to left. 1 for 2 so far in the ball game. Shaw holding on Kiermaier at first base. Second stint of the year for Franklin with the Rays. He's called up his last time on September the 8th. After this last optioning back down to Durham, he had 259 and 49 games for AAA Durham. .16 thefts on the year for Kiermaier. Gains his lead again at first base with 1 out here in the 7th inning. There goes Kiermaier at first. Pitch is high. The throw is not going to be in time. Stolen base for Kiermaier. In the scoring position with 1 down.
That was a good pitch to operate with, too, for Swihart, because it was almost like a pitch out. It was up, but he throws it directly in the ground almost. It's almost like he threw it to the side of Porcello. And Kiermaier in the scoring position with the head first slide. I wonder if that threw off Swihart at all. Seeing Porcello almost directly between himself and the second base bag.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Good changeup right there. Good changeup by Porcello to get the count running at 2-2. You see the Porcello going down on a stolen base, but the throw goes directly. It's almost like Swihart was afraid to hit him.
Swing and a miss. Franklin strikes out, and that is 8 strikeouts now for Rick Porcello. 2 down in the 7th inning.
You know, like Smiley has most of his strikeouts on curveballs. Porcello with a lot of fastball strikeouts tonight. His fastball up and away from Franklin. So 2 in this inning. 1 to Aaron Sevier on a breaking ball. That time Franklin on the fastball.
2 down here in the 7th inning. Kiermaier at second base, and here's John Jaso, 0 for 3 tonight, as he takes ball 1 down and in. Andrew Bellotti up in the pen for Tampa Bay. He's already worked in this series against Boston. Jaso fouls it off. Well, tomorrow at 6, don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. TC Steve Lyons and Tim Wakefield will be joined by Travis Roy live on Yawkey Way. Aaron Sevier struck out swinging to begin the inning. A single by Kiermaier. Stolen base. Then Nick Franklin struck out. So 2 down, runner at second.
A breaking ball just slipping out of the hand of Porcello. As soon as he released it, you knew it was going to be up and away.
Down low, 3-1. Jaso's always done well against the Red Sox. 44 games against Boston in his career, coming in at .299, just a tick below 300. He's 1 for his last 11 with runners in scoring position. Kiermaier taken off and taking third base. So a stolen base for Kiermaier, second of the inning.
I've seen a lot of that the last couple of nights, stealing third. And as I always say, if you can do it without a throw, standing up, that's when you want to do it, because there's no guarantee on a base hit. You're going to score from second base, especially a base hit to left field.
First full count of the night for Porcello. Here's a liner down the left field line. That's going to be a foul ball. Up against the wall down that left field line, and Jaso back to the plate here.
Not much room down in that foul territory, but clearly about 6 inches foul, as that ball was slicing away from Rusney Castillo. And make that 4 inches, not 6. And Porcello begging that ball to go foul.
Even 100 right now for Porcello, with 2 down here in the 7th inning. Fouled off to the left, out of play. With Kiermaier at third base, this marks the first time tonight the Rays have had a base runner at third. Red Sox have had 1. That was Mookie Betts back in the first inning. And get a good sized lead with Marrero off the line at third, as Jaso fouls back another. Ball 4, and he loses Jaso. So that is the first walk of the night. It comes here in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Well, Friday at 5:30, don't miss Friday Night Fenway, presented by Budweiser. TC will be joined by Red Sox interim manager Torey Lovello. And remember to join Budweiser at Cask and Flag before every Red Sox game in September for a chance to be selected as the Budweiser fan of the game. Budweiser, brewed the hard way. Willis coming out here to talk with Porcello. Just up over 100 pitches now with 2 outs, runners at first and third, and they'll be dealing with Daniel Nava coming up next.
This meeting may be about how to approach Nava. You saw Lovello talking to Carl Willis, the pitching coach, before he went out to the mound, and maybe about the attack they're going to use against Daniel Nava. Certainly they know him very well.
And Nava claimed off waivers by the Rays on August the 5th from the Red Sox. By a pitch his last time up. As he takes ball one, fastball down. Willis on the phone to the pen. We've not seen action yet in this game. Plenty of relievers to choose from out in the Red Sox pen. Nava chops one into right field for a base hit. From third comes Kiermaier. And the Rays take a 1-0 lead. A ball that goes bounding through the right side of the Red Sox infield. And Nava has put Tampa Bay on top 1-0.
I don't know what that hit, but it just took a big bounce. It might have hit the lip of where the grass meets the dirt in front of home plate. Let's see. Possible, because from that point, right there, yes, that's where it takes that big hop and just the overspin gets by Pedroia. That's kind of strange. Usually it hits the dirt or the grass. That was right on the lip of the grass.
Well, Nava coming out after the base hit that puts the Rays on top. Mickey Matuk now going to run for him at first base. Red Sox do have action to the pen. Heath Hembree first up for Boston. 2 on, 2 down. Evan Longoria, the batter, in the dirt for ball one. Jaso at second base, Matuk at first base. Game's first run scored here in the top half of the 7th inning, and it belongs to Tampa Bay. Ground ball softly hit that will kick foul. Hit the inseam of the grass and then jolted foul.
That's very strange. We saw Nava's ball hit the lip of the grass and take a big bounce. Now we see the same thing down here in fair territory. Oh, no, we don't either. It didn't hit the grass. It hits the dirt with a lot of spin on it.
Line towards left center. Castillo moves in and then goes back to make the catch that ends the inning. Rays get a run, take a 1-0 lead. Let's check out the Red Sox updated box score. On the right foot of Rick Porcello in between innings. He had his cleat off and Not sure what the issue is there as we play along to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is now 1-0. Tampa Bay on top. And look at what they were doing in between innings. Blake Swihart leading it off here against Drew Smyly. Up to 97 pitches. Mikey Matuk, who took over pinch running for Daniel Nava, now takes over for him in left field defensively. Down low, 3-1 to Swihart. Blake struck out swinging, grounded into a fielder's choice. 100th pitch of the night for Smyly, and that is ball 4. So the Rays get a run and now a leadoff walk to begin things here in the 7th. It's time for Game Break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Tom? All right, Tom, thanks very much. Back here at Fenway Park, where Tampa Bay has a 1-0 lead, but a leadoff walk for Blake Swihart. Drew Smyly walking Swihart to begin the inning. Andrew Bellotti continues to warm in the pen for Tampa Bay. There is Devin Marrero, who's bunting, pushes one by the mound. It's a good one, and he's going to reach. Well, good job there as Loney goes chasing after that ball by the mound and can't field it cleanly. Reaching is Marrero.
You know, I think this should go as a base hit for Marrero because if Loney fields the ball clean, I don't know where he's going to go with it. Ball bunted hard. It's almost like a push bunt to second base instead of a sacrifice. And there's Loney cutting across. You can see that where Swihart was. I think even if he comes up with it clean, he's not going to get Swihart.
It is a base hit, and it's first and second with nobody out. Jackie Bradley Jr. coming up here, and a good start to this bottom of the 7th inning for the Red Sox. Bradley rips it foul by the tarp.
Out in front of that curveball that he's seen a lot of tonight.
So Heath Embry warming last inning. It is now Tommy Lane warming in the pen for Boston. Showing bunt, pulling it back, and it's a ball and a strike now to Bradley. Swihart at second base, Marrero at first base. Nobody out here in the 7th inning. Red Sox trailing by a run. Fouled off to the left, 1-2.
That's one I think you'd like to have back again. That was a little bit of a hanger right there by Smyly on that breaking ball. Stays up in the zone, not the good one that stays down and away from the left-hander. That one was very hittable, but fouled off by Jackie Bradley Jr.
Lays off, 2-2. Bradley's now started 46 of the last 49 Red Sox games since being recalled from Pawtucket on July the 29th. 26 starts in right, 20 in center, 9 in left. Bounces in, blocked partially by Aaron Sebia, but he runs it down, didn't get far enough for the runners to advance.
That's a big block right there, because instead of having 2 men in scoring position, the Red Sox just have the one. Breaking ball coming back toward Aaron Sebia and plays it right off the stomach.
Bradley lifts the fly ball to left field, sending the Took back onto the warning track at the wall to make the catch up against it. Throws it towards third base and out number one right in front of the wall.
Well, that ball left the bat and it looked like it had a chance to maybe get out of here, but no. Matuk goes right back to the wall and makes the catch. You can hear him bang into the wall after making the catch. It's a very nice play for a guy that is not familiar with left field here at Fenway Park. Swihart playing it halfway. He'll get back no problem. And of course, Marrero watching what Swihart does.
Well, pitching change here. 1-0 Tampa Bay on top of Boston. Runners at first and second. One out here in the bottom of the seventh inning. Red Sox have runners at first and second, and Mookie Betts coming up. Drew Smiley's night over after 6 1/3 innings, responsible for the 2 men on. Betts will take strike one. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Kia. Andrew Bellotti coming into the game here, his 14th appearance, 3-1 with a 1.31 earned run average, 17 strikeouts and 9 walks. Opponent sitting at 186 against Bellotti. Inning started with Swihart walking. The bunt single by Devin Marrero. Jackie Bradley Jr. flying out to the warning track in left field. And Sox have runners at first and second with 1 down. Bellotti has made 14 appearances over 4 stints with the Rays this year. There's more action behind him in the pen.
3 pitches so far, 3 sliders.
C.J. Riefenhauser and Xavier Cedeno warming in the pen. Betts will drive this to center field. Kiermaier going back. He'll have room and make the catch in front of the warning track. Tagging at second base, heading to third is Swihart. Ball dropped out there by Nick Franklin as Betts is retired on a fly ball to center field. Red Sox now have a runner at third, a runner at first with 2 down.
This ball hit pretty well by Mookie Betts. First fastball that he sees in this at bat. But Kiermaier able to go back to just in front of the warning track there to make the catch. Swihart is able to tag up at second base. And easily makes his way into third with 2 outs.
So tying run 90 feet away here for Dustin Pedroia, who was 0 for 3 on the night. All that was against Drew Smyly. Fly to left, struck out swinging, popped out to second base. Swing and a miss for strike 1.
Once again, the slider from Bellotti. First pitch sliders are tough.
Close pitch called a ball.
That's one that certainly could have gone in the direction of Bellotti too. Another breaking ball. Top of the strike zone, but not called a strike. So Pedroia has a 1-1 count instead of 0-2.
Swing and a miss.
Not seeing a fastball yet. 2 sliders and a changeup. Certainly in Pedroia's zone inside. But the changeup instead of the fastball. That's a fastball. Pedroia probably hits it.
Runner goes at first as Pedroia takes a ball inside, and taking second base is Marrero. So 2 in scoring position now.
That's huge, especially at this stage of the ball game. Not even a throw to second base. See Franklin covering, but Aaron Sebia never got out of his crouch.
Pedroia may have gone. They check. No, says John Hirschbeck. So a full count now.
Well, certainly the Tampa Bay Rays dugout wants this call badly, but I don't think so.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Runners at second and third. Pedroia grounds one towards shortstop as Drupal Cabrera goes to first for the out. That ends the inning. Bellotti gets out of the jam. The Red Sox strand the pair and trail 1-0. 8th inning. And Rick Porcello back on the mound at 108 pitches through the first 7 innings. As Drupal Cabrera, Steven Souza Jr., and James Loney coming up. Red Sox pen is very busy. Tommy Lane, the left-hander. Noe Ramirez, the right-hander. As Drupal Cabrera making his way to the plate. 4th at bat of the night against Rick Porcello. He has struck out, single to right, and fly to right. A 1-for-3 night for the Rays shortstop. Rick Porcello with 8 strikeouts through the first 7 innings. Walked only 1. Curveball line to left, and this is going to get down and head to the corner. Over to play it over there is Rusney Castillo as Cabrera into second base with a leadoff double to begin things here in the 8th inning.
Let's look at the last 4 strikeouts for Porcello. Coming into this inning, he has the high fastball that he gets by Longoria. Another high fastball by Longoria. Then he goes to the breaking ball away off the plate. And then a fastball by Franklin. And, of course, to start off this inning, a hanging breaking ball that was hit down that left field line for the leadoff double.
Steven Souza Jr. has 2 hits in the ball game. And grounds one down the third baseline foul. Souza single to right in the 2nd, lined out to center in the 4th, single to left in the 6th inning. Bats now with James Loney waiting on deck. On the ground up the middle into center field. They will stop the runner at 3rd, and Cabrera is getting it in shallow center as Bradley. Not going to test the arm of Bradley, especially with nobody out. It's now 1st and 3rd with nobody out in the inning, and here comes Torey Lovullo to get Rick Porcello. So he will make the change here. That, incidentally, is the 3rd hit of the night by Steven Souza Jr. And it'll chase Porcello from the game. Pitched well again tonight, but trails in this game 1-0. Responsible for the men on. Tommy Lane will be coming in. You buy Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Your local Subaru dealers. And by Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Thank you, New England, for 60 great years. And Rick Porcello done after 7+ innings, scattering 11 hits in this game. But Giving up only 1 run to this point. Responsible for runners at first and third. Tommy Lane into his 60th game of the year. 2-1 with a 4.20 ERA. 43 strikeouts, 23 walks. Opponents hitting at .241 against the lefty. Pinch hitter Logan Forsythe pinch hitting here for James Loney. Loney had been 0 for 3 in the game, and with the left-hander in now, Forsythe batting from the right side. Soft toss to first, and back to the bag is Souza Jr. Rays trying to grab some insurance here in the 8th, already on top 1-0. As Forsythe takes the fastball outside. Had tonight off until now. Forsythe had started the first 2 games of the series. JP Arencibia waiting on deck for the Rays. Late swing fouled off into the grandstand to the right. (19 of 37 runners from third with less than 2 outs. Just over 50%. Scott Cabrera at third, Souza Jr. at first. Nobody out here in the 8th inning. Spectator right now. It's all Rick Porcello can do after 7+. Good pitch, and it kind of surprised Forsythe. It looked like 2-2.
A lot of times you don't see those high breaking balls called strikes, but that time it certainly was right at the top of the strike zone.
On the ground towards third base as a bobble by Marrero. Run will score and everybody will be safe. So the Rays take a 2-0 lead. It looked like it might have been a double play possibility.
Yeah, I am not sure what Marrero was thinking there, whether he was thinking about coming home or going for the double play. You see he's going to take a couple of steps to his left, and I think he wanted to come home with that ball and never was able to secure the baseball. See him kind of pivot towards going home with it.
Yep.
And I think that was the problem with making the catch on that. He was thinking about getting the ball home before actually getting in his glove.
He is charged with an error. There is an RBI on the play for Forsythe. And the Rays have a 2-0 lead now. Runners at first and second. JP Arencibia the batter. Of course, that run charged to Rick Porcello. Left by Lane off the backside. No throw. Line to center field coming in is Bradley to make the catch, middle of the cap high. And throws it back into the infield. That is out number 1 of the inning, and a hot shot by Arencibia, but right at Bradley Jr. out there in center field. Well, tomorrow at 6:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. TC Steve Lyons and Tim Wakefield will preview Wade Miley's start against the Rays. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? 2 on, 1 away, and Kevin Kiermaier the batter. In there for strike 1. Kiermaier singling to left field in the 3rd, left field in the 5th, and then right field in the 7th. That's with Souza Jr. at second base, Forsythe at first. Porcello still responsible for the runner at second base in Souza. Ground ball back to the mound. Lane will go to second for 1. A stumble there by Bogarts, and that's all they'll get. kind of fell over the bag at second. They're able to get the middleman in Forsythe for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, they were probably not going to get Kiermaier down at first base anyway because he runs so well. But a nice play here by Tommy Lane going to the back end. Gives a good feed to Bogaerts, but Xander right there has to stretch out. And it actually just kind of, I think, lost his balance as he was coming across the bag.
Actually used his knee to make the tag there on the bag.
Yep. I think the throw was a little bit lower than he expected, and that's what threw the timing off for him. But I don't think they would have got Kiermaier at first base.
First and third, 2 down. And it brings you up Nick Franklin batting out of the 9 spot. Second baseman has fly to center, single to left, struck out swinging. Two and 0. Swing and a miss by Franklin, and it's now 2 and 1.
If they get 2 strikes on Franklin, I wouldn't be surprised they try a double steal. Right now the count 2 and 1.
Strike call. Franklin didn't think so.
Now's the time you might see it right here. You might see Kiermaier go at first base.
Outside, full count.
Looked like he wanted to go too, but he just didn't get the right jump. Definitely going now. And Kiermaier getting out there, then jumping back to first base. I think something threw his timing off.
Down low, ball 4, and that'll load him up. So the walk here to the number 9 man allowed by Lane. And the bases are now loaded. Celebrate New England's top athletes, coaches, and teams at the Globies, presented by Mercedes-Benz. With a guest list that includes Doug Flutie, Taylor Twellman, and many more, the Globies is gearing up to be the biggest night in local sports. Tickets start at just $75. Buy yours now at bostonglobe.com/Globies. John Jaso, the batter. The base is loaded. And Jaso takes strike 1. 0 for 3 in the game. Walked his last time up. On the ground and down the left field line. This will score Souza Jr. Kiermaier coming around from second base, and to second base with a double goes Jaso. 2 more Rays runs are in, and Tampa Bay takes a 4-0 lead.
Well, they opted to go lefty against lefty. You know, if they pinch hit for Jaso, that means Lovello comes down and goes to the right-hander. They did not do that. And Jaso, who's a dead pull hitter, goes right down the third base line with this fastball. You can see how far over Marrero was. And with that base hit, 2 more runs come across.
So the Rays on top 4-0. The pitching change from Fenway. tonight. Drew Smyly went 6 1/3, giving up no runs. And a big night for Kevin Kiermaier, 3 for 4 in the ball game. Mike Porcello has been charged with 3 runs, 2 earned. As the book is closed on him now, 7+, 11 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Walked a batter, struck out 8. Tommy Lane responsible for the runners at second and third right now. Red Sox onto their 3rd pitcher of the night. And a swing and a miss here for Matuk. The pitcher is Noe Ramirez into the game. 13th appearance, 0-1 with a 4.76 earned run average, 12 strikeouts, 6 walks. But it's sitting at 255 against Ramirez. Line foul just outside the line by Matuk. Ramirez into the game here for Boston. 25 years old. Born and resides in Los Angeles, California. This year went to his 2nd Major League spring training camp. Originally a 4th round pick of the Red Sox in 2011. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Matuk. That ends the inning with the damage done. Rays score 3 times and take a 4-0 lead. Alltown will donate the $500 donation to Boston Children's Hospital. They'll actually double that. Alltown is New England's premier healthier convenience retailer. Back at Fenway Park, the Tampa Bay Rays scoring 3 times in the top of the 8th inning have a 4-0 advantage over the Red Sox. New first baseman Richie Schaefer now in the game for Tampa Bay. As Loney was pinch hit for by Forsythe. Andrew Bellotti back on the mound. We got the final 2 outs of the 7th, back out there to work here the 8th, at least to start it anyway, and it's Xander Bogaerts who starts it for the Red Sox in the inning. Xander tonight been held hitless, grounded out to third, struck out swinging, lined out to third base. Starter tonight for Tampa Bay, 6 1/3, 5 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts for Drew Smyly. Pitcher of record right now. Came into the game individually at 3-2. There's action behind Bellotti right now as Brandon Gomes and Xavier Cedeno warm in the pen for Kevin Cash. And Bogaerts coming in with an 11-game hitting streak, and that is on the line here in the 8th.
You're talking about Smyly, Don. That's the second real good start.
Yep.
he's had against the Red Sox. One down at Tampa Bay, one up here at Fenway.
Fouled off to the right out of play, and it's 1-2. Inside 2-2. Bogarts, Ortiz, and Shaw anticipated here in the inning. A little bit low, full count. Giving up 3 earned runs in his last 20 2/3 innings. All of them been home runs. A 2-run home run by Albert Pujols. Greg Bird with a solo home run for the Angels. Came back up on September the 8th. Bogarts did not go, says first base umpire John Hirschbeck. So ball 4 to Bogarts and aboard to begin things here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And here comes Kevin Cash.
Well, let's take another look from the side, see what we see, and very close, very close. But Bogarts certainly happy that it was called the check swing, as Bellotti would leave the game.
4-0 Tampa Bay on top. The pitching change from Fenway. Fade and stain resistant fabrics for carefree enjoyment year after year. Available in hundreds of durable fabrics so you can enjoy your furniture for years to come. Don't worry, be happy with Sunbrella Fabrics at Jordan's Furniture. Visit Jordans.com for details. Lead runner on for Boston here in the bottom of the 8th inning in Bogarts. New pitcher on, Xavier Cedeno, 57th appearance, 4-1 with a 2.04 earned run average. 41 strikeouts, 11 walks. Opponent sitting at 223 against Cedeno. David Ortiz, the batter he faces. And David hits a fly ball to left field. Mikey Matuk coming in. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning. One out, and Travis Shaw coming up.
First pitch breaking ball right there, and a pretty good pitch to hit for Ortiz. As you can see, the frustration. The ball was kind of middle of the plate, and Ortiz just pops it up.
Travis Shaw has struck out twice and doubled. Off the end of the bat, foul, down 0-2. So Bellotti responsible for Xander Bogaerts, who's at first base. He walked him to begin the inning. Before departing, Bellotti went 2/3 of an inning, getting the final 2 outs of the 7th. No hits, a walk, and no strikeouts. Cedeno becomes a third arm used by Kevin Cash. Oh, 2 pitch. Little grounder back off the mound comes Cedeno, turns and fires in time to get Shaw as Bogaerts takes second base with 2 down in the 8th inning. And Kevin Cash, after facing the 2 lefties, coming back out there with Rusney Castillo coming up. He'll make a pitching change with 2 down in the 8th inning. Tampa Bay on top 4-0. On the North Shore, plus Jenny Cooks with the head chef at a popular restaurant in the North End. Catch it all on Dining Playbook Saturday morning at 9. 4-0 Tampa Bay on top of Boston. With 2 outs, Xander Bogaerts at second base and Rusney Castillo the batter. Fastball at 90 miles an hour from Gomes, missing up and in. Brandon Gomes, 4th pitcher used by Cash tonight, 59th appearance, 2-6 with a 3.63 earned run average, 44 strikeouts, 13 walks, and opponents hitting at .237 against Gomes.
And that first fastball in was to set up that next pitch, which is the slider away. That's how they try to pitch to Castillo. Breaking balls or off-speed pitches. Change-ups.
Rusney takes the strike, and it's 1-2. Grab that inside corner, according to Bill Welke, home plate umpire.
Looked like it was a little bit inside, but goes Gomes' way. That opens up a lot of pitches now. Breaking ball away.
Andrew Bellotti started this inning and is responsible for Xander Bogaerts at second base, with 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Blake Swihart waiting on deck. Castillo pops it up shallow center. Second baseman Nick Franklin is out on the outfield lawn to make the catch that ends the inning. Red Sox lead Bogaerts on. It's 4-0 Tampa Bay. McNesson.com, your new home for fantasy football news and analysis. Our experts' weekly strategies and injury updates are sure to help you dominate your league this fall. Visit Nesson.com/fantasy and start chasing that championship today. 4-0 Tampa Bay on top of Boston. Wayne Ramirez back on the mound again, and got a first pitch strike to Evan Longoria, the only member of the Rays not to bat in the 8th inning. They sent 8 to the plate, scored 3 times, took a 4-0 advantage. Longoria goes chasing after that pitch and is down 0-2. Check swing foul into the crowd. On deck is Asdrubal Cabrera, then Steven Souza Jr. scheduled to bat here in the top of the 9th inning. Longoria had a single back in the first inning, and there's a final now. Toronto beating New York 4-0.
So that gives them now a 3.5 game lead over the Yankees.
1-2 pitch fouled off to the right, out of play. For a second there, you sounded like another announcer. I couldn't put my finger on it, but there.
Who, me?
Yes. Almost didn't sound like you. 1-2 pitch to Longoria. Is fouled back.
Oh.
Ball 2 strikes to Evan Longoria. Just missed off the outside edge. See an 8th pitch in this at bat. Noe Ramirez taking over for Tommy Lane. Off the end of the bat, all kinds of spin down the first baseline. Shaw with a nice play, and Ramirez covering for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, both guys doing their job. First Shaw to get to the line and make the play. Keep it out of right field, and Noe Ramirez doing his job by covering first base. Very nice play there by Shaw as he's heading toward the line. He gets himself in position to be able to make a throw to first base, and when he looks up, there's his pitcher covering.
So Ramirez gets the first out of the inning. Torey Lovullo making a pitching change. It's 4-0 Tampa Bay. Gene Machi coming in. Jubal Cabrera fouling off the first pitch, thrown by Gene Machi just into the game for the Red Sox here in the 9th inning. Machi's 23rd appearance, 1-0, the 4.87 earned run average. 17 strikeouts, 7 walks, and opponents hitting at .221 against Machi. They shift here on Cabrera with Bogaerts on the right side, and the pitch outside. Jubal Cabrera with 2 hits tonight. A single in the 4th inning. He doubled in the 8th. High drive to right field down the line towards the pole, but it is a home run up off the foul pole. As Jubal Cabrera with his 13th home run of the year, and the Rays up their lead to 5-0.
Well, he's had a big night, 3 for 5 on the night, a single, a double, and now the home run. Home run coming on a split-fingered fastball from Machi. Just hangs out over the plate and right off the foul pole, high off the foul pole, and in right field.
So one down in the inning, bases empty. Steven Souza Jr. the batter, and this one over the head, and
they're going to
eject him.
They're going to throw him out. It was a breaking ball.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, to me, it seems a little ridiculous because there was no intent there. That was a breaking ball that slipped out of the hand of Machi. It was, you can see it read at 79 miles an hour. And you see the slider grip, tries to throw a slider, and it happens to go over the head of Souza, and he's ejected from the ball game. I just think that's the wrong call by the umpire. There was no intent there by Machi.
Now, Wilkie's point there to Torrevelos basically just came after the home run, but I don't think there was any intention at all.
No, I mean,
if there was, you're going to throw a fastball.
You're going to throw a fastball. You're not going to throw a breaking ball.
He's telling him I was throwing a slider.
You know, in the umpire's judgment, if they deem that you're throwing at somebody's head, they can throw you out. But that's where understanding the fact that it's a breaking ball, it was certainly not intended for that.
Now Ramon Mendez coming in. The pitching change here from Fenway Park after the ejection of Gene Bocci. $, the Jimmy Fund for every game saved this season. Everybody saves at Bob's. Bob's Discount Furniture, quality, choice, and value. Learn more at mybobs.com. Torrevelos has been out there for the entire time we were away, as he was never animated, but just trying to state his case.
I think he was just trying to get an explanation on why he first was talking with Welke, then he moved on to Hirschbeck, and trying to get an explanation on why Machi was thrown out. I mean, you know, it was a breaking ball.
Roman Mendez into the game here for the Red Sox after the ejection, as Mendez appears in his 14th game, 0-1 with a 5.25 earned run average, 9 strikeouts, 7 walks for the right-hander.
I can promise you this: as long as I've been involved in the game, I've never seen a guy intentionally being thrown at with a breaking ball or a changeup or a splitter, or, anything off speed. It's
always a fastball.
It's always a fastball. I think the Rays realize that too.
Bill Welke ejecting Machi after the home run by Asdrubal Cabrera off the foul pole down the right field line. Steven Souza Jr. back in the box now. The count of 1-0, inherited by Mendez. Outside, and it's now 2-0. Mendez made his Red Sox debut and first major league appearance, has made the third with the Red Sox on the 16th at Baltimore. It's one foul back to the screen. Most of this year spent at AAA Round Rock, where he was 3-2 with a 2.78 earned run average. 30 games. Part of a 4-player trade that brought Jared Saltalamacchia to Boston back in 2010. Here's a high drive to deep left center field for Souza, and that ball is going to be gone into the monster seats. Steven Souza Jr. gets his 16th home run, and the Rays end up going back-to-back here. First Cabrera, now Souza. And Tampa Bay takes a 6-0 lead.
Now, this has been a huge night for Souza. He's got 4 hits on the night, 3 singles, and now the home run. Had the count in his favor, 2 ball, 1 strike, and gets the fastball from Mendez and takes it out of the ballpark. Big night. But for me, the big hit in this game for Tampa Bay was the Jaso double in the 8th inning that brought in 2 runs, lefty against lefty.
Richie Schaefer batting and taking the strike, held up. Second row of the monster seats that time for Souza Jr. Big swing for Schaefer, down 0-2. Schaefer's first at bat as Forsythe had pinch hit for Loney in the 8th inning, and then Schaefer took over at first base. Rays have added 2 so far here in the top of the 9th, and on top 6-0. Swing and a miss, and Mendez able to strike out Schaefer for the second out of the inning.
And gets him with a split-figured fastball. It was a slider on the previous pitch away, and then he comes back with a splitter down and in to pick up the strikeout. Here's that split grip, and you can see that ball darting back down and in to Schaefer.
JP Arancibia, 0 for 4 in the ball game. He struck out twice, grounded out, and flied out. Fooled on that pitch, 1-1. Arancibia with a pop-up, foul ground, and it'll be the catcher as Swihart makes the catch halfway down the third base line and in foul ground. 2 more for the Rays, who lead at 6-0. We head to the bottom of the ninth inning. Rays on top. Red Sox have work to do coming up here in the bottom of the ninth inning as Kirby Yates now comes in for the Rays. His 17th appearance, 1-0. The 7.56 earned run average, 18 strikeouts at 3 walks. Opponents hitting at .275 against Yates.
Now between innings, Kyle Willis kind of having a few words with Welke, the home plate umpire, over the ejection of Machi, telling him he's wrong.
Blake Swihart leading it off. Rays going in here to a shift on the right side of the infield. And a pitch outside for ball 1 for Yates. Yates getting his first career win in his last outing on Sunday against Baltimore. You got Adam Jones and Steve Clevenger to win the ninth inning. Fouled off to the left, out of play. He got called up as part of the September call-ups at Kirby Yates on September the 1st. It is his 4th stint of the year with Tampa Bay. 25 minor league appearances this year. Had a 5.60 ERA for the Durham Bulls at AAA. 1-1 pitch in the air to shallow right center field. Kiermaier racing over and in to make the catch for the first out of the bottom of the ninth inning. So 1 out, and that'll bring up Devin Marrero. Had a bunt single his last time up, stole a base. 1 for 3 night for the Red Sox third baseman. Marrero takes the strike, and it's 0-1. Jackie Bradley Jr. waiting on deck. Down the right field line and headed foul. In the dirt outside, 1-2. Brandon Gomes got the final out of the 8th inning. So he won a third of an inning. Tired Rusney Castillo, the only batter that he faced. Pitcher of record right now, the starter for Kevin Cash, Drew Smiley tonight, 6 1/3, giving up no runs, pitching very well. There's a grounder back towards the mound as Yates will throw to first base for out number 2 of the ninth inning. Jackie Bradley Jr. coming up with 2 outs in the ninth. Strike 1. Bradley didn't think so and appeared to be a little bit outside. Ball and a strike to Bradley, who was grounded out at second, grounded out to the mound, and flied out to the warning track in left field. Mookie Betts waiting on deck, hoping to get a chance here in the ninth inning. Well, number at the plate has Bradley down 1-2. Outside, 2-2. Bellotti, Cedeno, Gomes, and Yates all used in this game out of the pen by Kevin Cash. Ball 3, full count. Bradley fouls it back. 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Kirby Yates. Red Sox down 6-0 with 2 outs here in the 9th. Ball 4, and Bradley works a 2-out walk. Last thing Yates wanted to do there with 2 outs on the 6-0 advantage. Let's take a look at the Toyota play of the game, and Daniel Nava coming back to haunt the Red Sox here as he's able to get a base hit in the 7th inning and drive in the first run of the game. Kevin Kiermaier coming in from third base. Rays would add 3 more in the 8th, 2 more in the 9th, and have a 6-0 advantage.
Kind of a strange base hit where it hit to the lip of the grass in front of home plate and just really bounced up high and got by Pedroia at second base.
Defensive indifference as Bradley takes second base. Swing and a miss as Mookie Betts could not hold up. The 0-2 pitch. Liner into center field. A base hit around from second base. No, they're going to stop Bradley. And the throw is airmailed into the crowd. And now Bradley be given the play. So a bad throw back in. And as the Red Sox get their first run of the night here in the bottom of the 9th.
Now Kiermaier in center field really airmailed that one in. I mean, they had no intentions of sending Jackie Bradley Jr. down by 6 runs, and he just let it fly. And once it gets over the head of the catcher, the pitcher backing up, it bounces into the stands, and they can bring Mookie Betts in.
Single and an error charged to Kevin Kiermaier. No RBI on the play. It was Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia 0 for 4 in the game. He has fly to left, struck out, popped out to second base, and grounded out to short. Fouled off to the right out of play, and it's 1-1. Is going to miss. 2-1. We're going 0 for 4 night. Red Sox trying to make some noise here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 2-1 pitch. 3-1. The closer's starting to get warmed up now. Brad Boxberger. Kevin Cash certainly did not want to have this happen, but Jim Hickey just got off the phone to get him up. Ball 4, and Pedroia down to first base on the walk. Second walk of the inning given up by Yates. Xander Bogaerts coming up here for the Red Sox. 0 for 3 with a walk on the night, and another chance to extend his hitting streak.
A couple of quick outs in this inning, then the walk, the base hit, walk. And now a visit to the mound by Jim Hickey.
Jim Hickey out there talking it over here now. The rest of the infield joining the conversation. Got the first 2 outs of the inning. It's Swihart and Marrero. The walk to Bradley Jr., the single to Betts, the error that scored Bradley. The walk to Pedroia, first and third, 2 down here in the 9th. And Xander Bogaerts digging in here on the right side. Up the middle into center field. Extends the hitting streak. From third base comes Betts. And now it is 6-2. First and third again.
Now Bogaerts had to wait till the 9th inning. Takes that base hit right back up the middle. 12 straight games down. A 1-for-4 night for Bogaerts. There's that fastball right down the middle, and right up the middle goes the base hit. So Yates having a difficult time getting the final out of this inning.
Well, the catcher out there, Aaron Seabee, they're trying to buy more time here. And here comes Kevin Cash. Yates not able to get the job done here in the 9th inning. Got the first 2 outs, but 4 straight reach after that. 2 runs in. It's 6-2 Tampa Bay. Pitching change from Fenway. With 2 outs, the Red Sox have scored twice, and the Rays have now had to go get their closer into the game as it turns into a save situation here as Boxberger into his 65th game, 4-10, 36 out of 42 in save opportunities. With a tying run on deck, he enters this game. And David Ortiz standing in. David will take strike one, taking second base on the defensive indifference is Xander Bogaerts. Second defensive indifference of this inning. Ortiz has walked twice tonight, struck out, flied out to left. Swing and a miss. Fastball by him, and it's 0-2. Pedroia at third base, Bogaerts at second base with 2 outs here in the 9th. One and two.
Very close pitch there. They tried to elevate on Ortiz and just missed the outside part of the plate.
Ortiz got jammed there and fouls it back. 93 on the fastball, running in. Travis Shaw waiting on deck here, hoping to get a chance. He's got 2 outs to begin this inning, but could not finish it off. He leaves, and now Boxberger into the game. Each responsible for the men on. And second and third already charged with 2 runs. Outside, 2-2. Boxberger getting his 36th save yesterday here at Fenway Park. And he's second only to Houston Street of the Angels, who has 39 saves on the year. In the air to left field for Big Poppy. Back goes Matuk onto the track to make the catch. David gives it a ride, but he is outnumbered 3 of the 9th inning as the Rays hold on. Some noise, but not enough noise for the Red Sox in the 9th inning. Tampa wins it 6-2.